Fucking filming. Guess we could fill in for him, I guess. Hello? This idiot's podcasting again. What a fucking nutcase. No. Taking off this fucking piece of shit, everyone. Looking like Manny out here from Ice Age. Hey guys, welcome back to another podcast. I'm just stuffing around here, got a bit bored, so I thought I'd steal from myself. Alright, so I've done myself a mischief again. It's been like two weeks since I did another podcast. Not because I'm lazy, but because I've been flat out working in my business or whatever. Work's picked up this time of year, like a lot. I'd like it if I had 2 clones of myself, so I could send them out onto these jobs. I'd be a millionaire in no time, you know, because I wouldn't have to pay these other people, because they'd just come back and then, you know, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be good, because I wouldn't have to tell them or worry about whether they knew what the hell they were doing. Because I knew, because I'd know that they were completely and utterly capable of doing the job. If only we could do that, it would be good. Today, pretty well wanted to talk about risks. I know in the last episode I went a little bit off track there. I went on to a bit of, touchy subjects for some people, and just some things that, probably aren't correct in a few ways, but they're my opinions, and that's pretty much it. And as far as I know, everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. And some people's opinions are more factual than others. And yeah, these days you can't really, I'm not even going to bother talking about anything that has anything to do with, well, anything other than myself, really, because I just can't be bothered. I'm not someone I don't have time to research shit that I do not care about at all. So because I don't give a fuck at all about anything that's going on in the world whatsoever. So I'm not going to spend time researching that shit just to talk about it on here when there's plenty of other people doing that already. I think the main thing on this channel, on this podcast, that I want to talk about is just getting after it, and just, putting in the effort and doing something out of the ordinary, even though everyone around you is doing the ordinary thing, which makes you feel like you've got to conform as well, which you don't, and it's risks, because it's risky. No one wants to go and, jump out of an airplane because of the risks. But guess what? You don't get that rewarding feeling, the rewarding experience, the rewarding memory. If you're not taking risks, if you don't want to watch this whole podcast, this is exactly what I just want to say, and you've probably heard it before. If you're not taking risks, you're not going to get any reward. There's no risk without the reward, everyone. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. Only going to be a 15-minute podcast. I'm not putting it. I know that most people aren't even going to really watch for much longer than that, if at all. So, and this is kind of like a refresher for me to go over a few things, kind of set me straight, because there's no risk without reward. Right now, this is probably coming towards the end of this year. It's probably 3 years in business since I started my own construction business, and that was a risk and a sacrifice for a good up until now. I've made zilch, nothing, and just gotten by. Work's been scarce, but then out of nowhere, business relations start coming in, and then you start, picking up work from bigger companies, or, everyone just starts wanting work all of a sudden. And I know that right now I'm not getting too keen, because this time of year, work does pick up a lot, but this has been the most it's ever picked up for me. And I'd like it if it just, like kept on cruising like a fair way through next year because, but reason for saying that is none of that would be happening unless I took the risk one day working miserably on a, 8-hour, 10-hour shift for another company that I used to work for and, sitting there thinking, do I want to do this for someone else's dream? Do I want to do this so that his bank account looks good for the rest of my life? And I was never happy with that. I'm not happy with that. No, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but like, I know that I have what it takes to do something so that I'm not a slave to someone else's dream for the rest of my life. And so I talked to a branding company and everything, and they helped me. The fuck is that? Is that a fucking spider? Better not be a spider in my bed. Anyway, so talked to them and everything and got up a branding and everything for the business. Pretty much went over all that and everything. And I still remember the night sitting there and they sent me the presentation pretty much of the branding package that they'd come up with and everything, going off what I told them I'd prefer, all this kind of stuff, the name. And I still remember the exact moment when I opened it and I had to scroll down before I could see it. And I was, and I remember instantly seeing just the branding and everything and thinking, I didn't want to change a thing. It was, one of the first feelings of like taking that first step because it's not exactly cheap to get all that stuff done professionally, which you don't have to do to start up. But I just wanted something that was going to stick and be done professionally and you get all the package and everything. So I did that. And that was the first feeling to me of an achievement for myself and everything, to do with in line with my career or whatever. And, if I didn't take that step, do that. And that I didn't think, because after a while I left it there and I was like, I'm not sure whether I actually want to do anything with that yet, because then the next big step is actually putting yourself out there, trying to get the work, and then you're in it. Especially, but what I did is I quit the company that I was at the time and I went over the mainland and did a bunch of work over there for a few different companies and everything. And I was really just tossing up the idea of whether I even wanted to do construction at all, whether it was for myself or someone else. But, so what I did, went over there, but by the time I came back, I was like, you know what? I had a bit of work that my old man had lined up for me and everything. So instead of going to work for another company straight away when I came down here, which would have just locked me back into another, 9 to 5 or whatever, I started that job, and that was the start of the next 3 years of pretty much working to get by until the business slowly started giving back more so to a point where I could actually do more than just pay my bills and food and fuel and get by and everything. So, you're not going for any loans in that period of time. Like, you're making this massive sacrifice because you don't have a stable job. You're not doing nothing. It's a massive risk. You could do that for ages, and then in the end, it doesn't work out at all, and you're tossing up all this stuff and everything. But I just did it. I just said, well, I don't want that. So the worst case scenario is that happens. I could do this for 3 years, 5 years. It doesn't pay off. I go back and work for these people. But that doesn't change a single thing. 6 months down the line, bank's going to give you a fucking loan because you're in a solid job, and they love that. They love seeing someone have their whole life ticked to this company, and you can fuck off with that. To be honest with you, I would have never given up though. I'm never going to give up until the company was starting, or the business started going well, and it's slowly starting to go better, and it is going to go better, and it's going to go even better, and it's going to keep going better, and then it'll go better again. And so it's all that first risk and putting things in motion, because if you don't put something in motion, well, it's never going to happen. If you're just sitting at home and you're thinking about everything all the time, like people say a lot of things, you've got to think yourself, you've got to picture who you want to be and what you want to be in the future, and it'll happen. But guess what, bud? It's not going to happen unless you take action. You'll take action to those thoughts, and they work together, and as one, and then they come together. And that's actually what I've seen over the years. Is I pictured myself in the position I am right now, even though it's not that far ahead. I pictured that first, and it took that time, but now I'm here, and now I'm picturing another stage where everything's kind of gone a bit further, and I know that I'll get there. There might be a few rough patches again, but I know I'll get there, and it gets easier and easier and easier. Like right now, I don't mind doing construction. I actually love knowing that I can get up, I'll go to work for myself, I'm working for my own dreams, my own goals, and, I'll run the show pretty well. So it's not that hard to find the motivation to do it anymore, because it's like it's happening. It's given back to me, like I've spent that time where it's just, you're going through. It's like this podcast. I start it and you're worried like, oh, well, I'm putting all this time into it, but it's just not going anywhere. No one's watching it. What's it giving back to me? It's not financially improving my life or anything like that. But because I've seen how taking the risk, taking the action and doing it and getting nothing back from it for so long, but then eventually it starts paying off and then it gets easier. I've experienced that in that business. It's bound to happen doing this, the same thing. Whether it takes 2, 3, 10 years, like you just keep doing something and eventually it's going to happen. Because, that's just how it is, I haven't read that book, Law of Attraction or anything, but if you're, I don't know how really to explain it, but if you're focusing solely on a destination where you want to get a picture of yourself achieving something, or the type of person you want to be, and you're taking action to be that type of person as well, it's inevitable that's going to happen, especially if you just keep trying, keep putting time. If you put 5 years into it and then give up, it's not going to happen. If you just continuously keep trying and giving it your best and keep on going, right, and say it's not going to beat me, you eventually get to that stage, whether it takes 5, 10 years. And it's just how you got to do it, mate. It is what it is, So that's the mindset, everyone, and that's what I'm trying to talk about today. All right? Got to take the risk to get the reward. You got to make the sacrifice. So, and if you want to, like I said, if you want to experience, jumping out of an airplane, you got to go and take the risk, jump out of the airplane. But the fact that there could be that slight minimum little fucking chance that all shit goes wrong and you're dead. So yeah, got to take risks, everyone. I love taking risks though. I do. It makes life worth living. What are you going to do? You're born and what you're scared of dying? You're going to die anyway. And it's inevitable that in 100 years, no one's even going to know who the fuck you are, and no one's going to even know who the hell is anyone else that is alive on the planet right now with you. Even people that are born right now, 100 years from now, will be most likely dead. You could say 150 years to be safe because of technology and shit. But yeah, so why not take risks? Go up to that girl that you think's pretty and say, how you going? No one's going to remember her saying, get away from me, you freak, before I call 911 in 150 years. She ain't even going to remember it. She's going to be dead, rotting in the ground, right next to you. So, you really just got to self-talk yourself through a lot of things. Don't take life too seriously. And I think I talked about this in another episode. Don't take life seriously, but take it seriously. All right? I need to come up with another way of saying that, but you get the idea. Because if you're taking it serious in that way, you'd be disappointed in a lot of ways. If you know what I mean. But you got to take it serious, I think, in the way of being the best version of yourself you can be, striving to get yourself somewhere and trying your best not to just become a slave to someone else's dream, in career-wise or whatever. you know, just don't take life seriously in the means of everything's going to go so great for you and that you've got such little time. You know, like you don't want to be focusing on that kind of, like life's going to be a fucking absolute nightmare, mate. Absolute nightmare. It's meant to be, all right? It's meant to be an absolute shit show. Like, you know, relationships going wrong, work stuff going wrong, struggling to kind of get on that next level, get to the next step in your business, get to the next step with your relationship. Because, you know, it's a rough one out there. But the thing is like, if it was easy though, like, I don't know, like, if life was easy, you know what happens to people that have lived an easy life? They end up. It's like those trust fund kids. I feel like I've just been talking a bit of shit here, but like, it's like those trust fund kids. It's all based around the same topic, you know, taking the risks, getting after it, and making something of yourself. And it's like those trust fund babies that are born with a golden spoon in their mouth or whatever they say, and like, you know, all the money and cars and whatever. All the girls love them because they're, you know, like, and the parents are, you know, like, genetically gifted, so the kid's genetically gifted. He's got abs. He's, you know, looks great and everything, and he gets all the girls, all the money and everything. That's one useless kid right there, man. That's one useless dude. Like, I don't even know if you call them a man because they're just, well, they'd be useless. You know, like, and at the end of the day, I don't wish that I was born into a rich family whatsoever. I don't wish, you know, I see it as being born how I was as being born into a rich family, you know. I was born into the exact family that I'd want to be because the last thing I want to be is one of those people that have just been given everything and never had to work for anything themselves because you that's all you think life is. Like, you don't, like, if something little goes wrong in your life when you're that person, you near shoot yourself, mate, because you won't know what to do. You know, like, but I like to think that I've had to put effort in. I've had to get after whatever that I've actually wanted in my life. If I wanted something, say when I was a kid, even like in school, if I wanted something, if I wanted the new iPhone, which I probably wasn't even allowed when I was a kid, like if I wanted that, I'd have to go down the neighbour's place and chop wood for the weekends and everything and get paid $12 or something an hour to, you know, which they barely would pay me that because, I mean, they just think, because I was just a kid, they're like, $12 an hour is fairly expensive, especially when I started my apprenticeship, I was only getting $12 an hour. But, you know, like if I wanted the iPod, which is $200, I'd have to go down there, do that, save up however long. And I remember I actually did this, and then I remember sitting that $200 out on the table, and then I went downtown and bought myself an iPod. You know, mum ain't going to buy that shit for me. You know, like, she bought me a Kmart t-shirt once, and it was actually my favourite t-shirt. And I think I lost that recently. I think it became a rag because it was like I wore it that much that there was holes in the front of it everywhere. The neck was hanging off at the stitches and everything. And I think someone just threw it out one day, and I think I seen it in like a bag, some shit. I don't know, but yeah, that's as far as mum and dad would go breaking the bank for you. You know. So I like to think that most things that I've had, I've worked for and done, you know, like put some effort into at least deserve and get, you know, because, and I think you appreciate things more so when you've grown up that way or, you know, been that way or whatever. Whereas if everything's always there in your face, ready for you, whatever you want, you know, like, you're going to be the most ungrateful person on the planet, you know? So being able to live the life that I have I'm very thankful for. I look back and everything, when it was everything that was happening, it's not like, oh, I hate my childhood, or I hate this, or I hate that I can't go hang out with my friends, or I hate because I can't do this, or, like I hate that a relationship went bad or something like that. But at the end of the day, man, like none of it was really that bad. At least I'm not like some starving African kid, you know? At least I'm not a paraplegic. At least I don't have cancer. Touch wood. There's some wood. But anyway, like at least I've got 2 legs, 2 arms, a functioning brain, kind of. And, got to think ourselves lucky out there, everyone. Think ourselves lucky. If you got 2 legs, 2 arms, and you can function completely, that's just a gift right there. All right? You should be taking more risks than anyone else on the planet. Because I've seen like these snowboarders out there that have became paraplegics, and they just keep doing it, doing backflips on like a single thing where they sit down the snowboard. They're still taking that risk, even though they're paraplegic, because they've stuffed themselves doing what they love, but they continually take that risk in the fact that they could actually become head down immobilized. People like that, man, just they know that they got nothing to lose, and they just go for it, and they just, they're the ones that are living. See, some people out there are living more. Some people out there that got half their body that they can use are living more than people that are completely able-bodied. These people out here, man, that just sit on the fucking couch, do nothing with their fucking life. They don't, they're not striving for something, like, and they just, like, from a young age, like, I'm not talking, by the time you're past 40 or whatever, you're kind of just enjoying life there. You kind of just, you're making do with where you've got yourself. You're doing your thing, like, that's it, But that's why a lot of people say, like, 20 to 35 or whatever, like, the decisions you make, the risks you take, the things that you're putting in motion in those years, they set you up for how you're going to be in that stage in your life from 40 onwards or whatever, and if you've just stuffed around, blown all your money, made stupid decisions, pissed all your money up the wall, whatever, like, chased girls that don't even know what they want, like, wasting time, man. Waste of fucking time, and, yeah. None of that is going to get you where you want to be unless you want to be, like, nowhere. So, yeah. Life's all about risks. Waking up's a risk. Jumping in your car's a risk. Going down the supermarket's a risk. You could run into your ex-girlfriend. You could get in a car accident. You just don't know when shit's going to go south. But we still get out of bed, everyone. And we still get up, and we still get after it, and we still do what we got to do. Because today's a good day, yesterday was a good day, and life is good. Because one day, you'll wake up, and that day will be the last day that you say good morning to your old man, or say, or the last time you see your mum's face and a number come up on your phone, They're going to be some pretty shit days, everyone. So, yeah. Make the most of the time while it's good. Take risks while you can. Get after it. Strive to live the dream, whatever your version of the dream may be. Not everything's about financial gain, but I tell you what, if something's going to help you out financially, why not try and strive for it? Because all it's going to do is make your time as a elderly person a lot more enjoyable, and I'm not saying waste your whole life, chasing money and everything, but just make the right decisions and try to do something that's at least going to put you in a position where you're not slave to someone else's dream all the way up until you're 60. Because I'm telling you, mate, when you get there, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to look back at yourself when you're in your 20s and you're going to just want to grab hold of yourself and strangle you so that you don't end up alive at 60 years old how you are. You don't want to be that guy that's holding a lollipop on the side of the road. This is what my old man used to always tell me growing up. He goes, you do not want to end up like that guy. And he's not bagging out that guy because he's out there hard working. Someone's got to do that job. But guess what? Guess who that someone most of the time is? Someone that hasn't gotten after it. Someone that's just that person. If he could have, if he had a choice, he would not be there. But it's the people that don't have the choice that end up there, and they're normally on the lower bottom echelon. It's hard facts. It is what it is. Like, you can't argue with me on that. Like, people that have done really nothing but party, piss their fucking money up a wall, do nothing, and just waste their life away are generally the people that are 50 plus hanging onto one of those stop signs on the side of the road because they're too useless to even be able to get in the machinery or get a drill and fucking help out because they got no skill, And yeah, my old man, I still remember like so many times, just like in life, you at least have to strive. You make sure you do not end up being that guy, and always, always think about that whenever I'm trying to get ahead and everything. Like, at least I'm not that guy. I'll never be that guy. Doesn't matter what I do, I'll never be that guy because I'll make sure that I'm never going to be that guy. And I know, like, yeah, he's just people out there probably, oh, he's helping the community. He's a hard worker. He's got kids at home. He's just trying to do something. Yeah, but he could be doing something else as well that he didn't hate and want to kill himself every day if he just put a bit more effort in to self-development, gaining skills or something. Guarantee you, no one loves that fucking job, man. They're there because of the decisions that they made. It's like the lowest echelon, apart from being homeless or something, in career-wise, anyway. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit. Get after it. Make sure you don't become the lollipop man. No one, if you come up to me, I don't even care. If you come up to me and you say, oh man, I love holding the lollipop and turning it. Fuck man, I love that job. I don't even want to know you. All right, you got to have more go on you than that. The people that should be doing that job are people that are just drug fucked themselves. Get them on there because they made that decision. Like, that's who should be doing that job. Just get them. They're a write-off. You're a write-off. Get them doing it. But if you're sitting there and you're like a normal person and you're saying, I love this fucking job because I don't really need to fucking do anything. I get paid fucking, $1,000 a week enough. I get paid enough to get by to twist this. The less I got to do for that money, the better, man. Like, can't wait till fucking Friday, bruv. I'll go hit down the pub again, couple beers, mate. I might do a bit, yeah. Fucking hell, mate. I don't even want to fucking know your name, bro. Don't want to know your name. Like, fucking hell, I don't know if I like this fucking podcast shit. Like, the amount of shit I say, and then I feel like I've got to back everything up and go back and say, like, just because I was saying that guy was having a beer on a Friday night, like, I'm not bagging out drinking like I like having a drink. I'll just say that. I feel like I've got to say everything and go back and say, didn't mean that, I meant this. I wasn't bagging out that, I was bagging out that. Like, just get the fuck after it and don't be the lollipop man. What's another thing Dad says? He says another thing. He's like, the chief is the guy with all the feathers in his hat, and that's why he's always told me in business, in my job, to get as many tickets as you can. Go get skills, like all this shit. Like, because when you send your resume to a company, they'll be like, that motherfucker right there is valuable. The more skills you got, the more knowledge you got, the more skills, the more experience, the more of all that shit you got, especially when it's on paper, you'll go far. You know, because all you got to do is say, make yourself known, and they'll want you to get the job. So yeah. And the only way you kind of get experience and, you know, get somewhere in life is what? By taking risks, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Taking risks. We're up to half hour right now. That's pretty much all I wanted to rant on about that, but you get the point. Plenty of other people have talked about it, probably a lot more clearer than I have, but that's my take on it anyway. Don't be the lollipop man. Get those feathers in your cap. Take risks and make your future self proud. You know? And you can't go wrong with that, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good rest of the week. Good night.